This new reality comes with realities of its own. Applications are harder to control, harder to secure. Costs escalate. And ever-increasing complexity, suddenly, you're running out of resources, man. But guess what? Between all the promises and making it happen, there's a bridge. One built on security that isn't an afterthought, but the main thought. Intentional from the start, in the right place at the right time between all your connections. One that lets you deliver applications on time, on any platform for a better experience every time. And one that lets you manage an entire network simply at scale. This is the new reality made real. And the company that invented the network in the first place is now ready to take you to this new place, where the power of the network moves at the speed of the cloud. Wherever you are, wherever you need to go, happens like that. Smarter, deeper, and more flexible than ever. This is SD-WAN. And this is the bridge to get you there.
Cisco, the bridge to possible.
Welcome to Cisco Live Barcelona 2019. I love that video, and it's really funny because I didn't know who that actor was, but I've heard it's someone from Star Wars, so it's great that we're referencing these and bringing it to life with some of the stories. So I'm going to throw straight to Rob, who's out there. Rob, what do you have for us?
All right, well, this is probably one of my most favorite topics because we spent a lot of time over the last year really improving how we're handling this particular space. Because if there's been any one thing that's been more popular and so many different people that we compete with in the market, it's around SD-WAN. And obviously, as many of you guys remember, we acquired Viptela a while back, and then we really, I think, worked very fast to start to integrate that technology in ways that only Cisco can, to where actually running it on the routers. And I met a lot of really interesting people with Viptela. One in particular, I've studied hours and hours of this guy's footage whenever I can capture him on stage, is David Klevenoff. David, I'll have you come over here.
Nice to be here, Roy.
Good to have you, because I think you're one of the smartest guys I know, and that's what I'm going to stick with that up until the point that I meet someone else. But David, you and your team from the Viptela side have worked hard on the integration, but you've also added some unique features for SD-WAN that really set Cisco apart, because even though everybody says they have SD-WAN, boy, the differences in how it's deployed and how it's operated. I wonder, we only have a few minutes here, but maybe you could show us just a couple of quick things about how what you guys have done different in terms of, I think, security and really what you're doing with cloud. Yeah?
Absolutely, yeah, thank you very much. All right, so what we have in here is we have an SD-WAN management system, which is we call vManaged, right? And this is what we call a dashboard, right? So in here, I can quickly navigate on the left to the configuration menu, and in here you can see something which we call a cloud on-ramp for SaaS, which really makes the SD-WAN fabric improve the application performance for popular SaaS applications, and Office 365 is by far the most popular one. So if I click through this, then I will get into this screen where I have the popular SaaS applications that we have defined, which is, you see, Office 365 is obviously there, but obviously Dropbox, Google Apps, Box, and we have more applications. Then I can click into Office 365 and actually see the Office 365 performance from the different sites that have access. And we even provide you what we call a quality of experience score that I can see.
Pause you there for a moment, because I want to make sure everybody remembers, you think that cloud simply means you got to get on the internet and then you're fine? No, especially when it comes to critical applications for your business with things like Exchange and Office 365. Sorry, I'm jumping into specifics. But the idea is that we actually have worked directly with Microsoft. We know where the front doors are, the back doors are, and they're actually measuring every hop that's measurable in that experience so that the network can change to meet the demands of the user on a user-by-user, moment-by-moment basis. This is something you cannot get anywhere else. This is good stuff. Sorry, I get excited about it.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. And now, coupled with cloud, there's also security, because the first question people ask is that when I enable this cloud access at my branch offices, what happens to security? So let me quickly show you. If I navigate back into the dashboard of vManage, right? And let me quickly refresh the screen.
I love how the certificates are going to tell us it's not secure at the top, exactly. Since we're doing the demo.
It's a cosmetic thing. Yeah. All right, right here on the bottom, you can see 3 widgets that talk about the security enforcement points that we have in our fabric. It's an application-aware zone-based firewall. It's the IPS IDS, and it's the URL filtering. We also have the integration with Cisco Umbrella as a cloud security service. Right? And all of these are fully integrated within the single pane of glass of Cisco vManage to really secure that cloud access.
Okay. All right, perfect. I did not hear. They were giving me a timing update and I missed it. But nonetheless, one of the things I love about this here, though, is on security, you're right. Everybody tends to forget up until the last minute because everybody says they have security, but they're deploying it as something extra, and you're having to buy extra boxes, which means you're talking about a per-site basis because the whole benefit of SD-WAN is to be able to give direct internet access at your site so you can both lower costs as well as improve performance. Well, you're not going to really improve performance if you don't have something like cloud on-ramp, and security is going to start getting in the way, which is going to piss off your users if you don't have an elegant way to do it, which is the way we're doing it here, within the router, part of the system. It becomes drag and drop functionality.
And the cool part is that it's all integrated within a single management tool. So you have a network management and a security management within the same single pane of glass of the SD-WAN management through Cisco vManage.
Got it, perfect. David, thank you so much. Appreciate your time. Hope you guys can tell, I love this stuff. And it's easy to play with. You can go online and actually experiment with yourself. You're going to love it. Right now, we're going to go take a look at a video and keep the story going. Take care.
National Instruments had a predicament. Bandwidth demands were on the increase. And while growth is good, their IT budget wasn't keeping pace. Not so good. IT needed to deliver more bandwidth to offices around the world while keeping spending under control. That's not so easy. Suddenly, the company that helps engineers accelerate innovation found themselves needing help. Oh, and it needs to be fast, flexible, affordable, and secure too. A tall order, but by no means an impossible one. Not with the decision to turn to us, the people who invented the network in the first place. Using a Cisco SD-WAN solution in Cisco services, we massively increased their bandwidth. Where their budget held them back, we propelled them forward. Now, most companies would be delighted right there, but we went further. Network deployments are faster than ever. And where their old network generated problem tickets faster than anyone could count, the number of WAN-related tickets has decreased 70% in the past year. All of this to prove that between those frozen processes of yours and free-flowing productivity, there's a bridge. Tell us what you're imagining, and we will build the bridge to get you there.
And we're back at Cisco Live Barcelona 2019. I love hearing from customers and how they're actually deploying our technology and what it's doing for them. And I'm thrilled to be joined here by Shai from San Jose State University. Hi Shai, how are you doing?
Doing great, excited to be here.
Thank you for joining us. So can you tell us a little bit more about San Jose State University and your role there?
I'm the Director of Network Services for the university, and we're a fairly large university with about 35,000 students and 5,000 faculty and staff that we have to support. So about 40,000, a city of about 40,000 people.
So you mentioned, obviously, the network is a big part of your role. So tell us about what intent-based networking means for you.
Intent-based network means it's a paradigm shift of how we think about networks, how we design them, and how we deploy them. And the ability to do this through policy, through automation, and ensuring that we also leverage the consistency in the network operationally and leveraging the security benefits that you get from that.
Got it. And at San Jose State University, obviously you've been working with Cisco for a while now, but what were some of the challenges that you were facing as part of your daily job?
Part of the challenges is wireless is a network for us, and we have, as I mentioned, about 40,000 people that need to get on the network, and really ensuring that every user has a positive experience, and really being able to get into the user experience, being able to understand what users are doing, and how we can better improve the network to better suit their use cases and what they need.
And I've heard that you've been working very closely with Cisco DNA solutions. So tell us a little bit more about that process and what it's been doing for you.
So we started using DNA Center a little over a year ago from the very early stages, and right away we were very much impressed about how it gave us a user perspective which we never had before. We're now able to not just look and monitor the network, but truly monitor what the users are, what the users are doing, and how we can improve the network. The visibility at layer 7 has been also very helpful because we can actually tell what applications are struggling on the network.
Got it. And what would you say are some of the kind of standout outcomes for you? What has it been doing for your organization?
It really increased the confidence everyone has in the network because we have a lot more visibility and the data to show for it. But also, user troubleshooting time has gone down 2 minutes, and now my staff is actually able to work on projects that we've been trying to do instead of working and trying to analyze logs and looking for issues. We could be a lot more proactive about it.
Sounds great. So what about the long term? What's next for you with Cisco DNA?
Long term, we're looking at the analytics. We're in the process of deploying sensors across campus, the 1800S sensors across campus, so we can have clients and really validating locations on campus. And the next big phase for us is really moving toward the automation and really trying to deploy brand new buildings with a software-defined access and leveraging the full automation features that you can get out of DNA.
So I've heard that we're actually going to go to the Innovation Showcase now, which is very exciting. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Sorry, what is it?
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you so much. So we're now going to go to the Innovation Showcase, which is super exciting. So viewers, take a look and let us know what you think with hashtag #CLEUR.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Innovation Showcase Theater. My name's Toby and I have the pleasure of being your host today. Now we all know that to thrive in the new world of digital business, companies have to innovate like never before. And that's why we're bringing you 11 sessions here at the Innovation Showcase, where we're going to be sharing with you the latest service innovations, best practices, which we know that you guys, which will inspire and engage all of you guys here at Cisco Live 2019. Now today we'll be exploring the world of enterprise networking. And to tell us about how intent-based networking is sophisticated, powerful, and simple, it's my pleasure to welcome to stage Sachin Gupta.
Thank you. All right, good afternoon. Are you ready to go? Okay, it's really exciting to be here back in Barcelona, just a year after we introduced DNA assurance and more innovations in intent-based networking. We've got a really exciting show today. I'm going to cover 5 key topics. First of all, why do anything? Why do we need to reinvent networking? Second of all, get you caught up on what's new in the technology. After that, I'm going to ask Frank to come on stage from OBS and talk about how customers are thinking about SD-WAN and how you can get started. And then we have a fantastic demo showcasing campus and data center cross-domain integration. And then finally, I'll leave you with some tips on how you can get going on your own intent-based networking journey. All right? 40 minutes, packed. Let's go. First of all, why do anything? All right? Why do we need a new way of networking? So let me explain the story. First of all, I think everybody agrees that all your clients now expect a mobile experience. Everybody has many, many devices and things that are connecting into the network, accessing applications and data in multiple clouds. And they're expecting security, the right level of experience in this highly mobile, highly cloud, highly IoT world. And it's just becoming more and more complex to deliver that experience and that security. It's very, very costly to run the networks. You're spending $3 to operate a network for every dollar you spend on infrastructure. On a global basis, we believe more than $60 billion is being spent on just network operations. And that's because 95% of what you do is manual CLI-based operations. And you're spending 3/4 of your time trying to figure out what the issue is and how do you go address that issue. All right? So let's look at this from an example point of view. Well, what are you trying to do at the end of the day? You're trying to take users, devices, and things and connect them to applications and data. When you need to make a simple change, like one user group does not have access to a particular application, well, it looks something like this. Everybody familiar with this? And look at this. Access control lists and hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of rules that you are manually entering to deliver policy. Sound familiar? All right. So what happens? Now you might say, you know what, Sachin, I know how to do this. I know how to do VLANs. I know how to do subnets. I know how to do ACLs. Like, what's the big deal? Let me explain. This is a hospital example. In this example, let's say, you know what, I need to allow patients to have access to the internet. Great, okay, sounds straightforward. Now I need doctors and nurses to have access to medical records. All right, I can do that. Now I need to have the admins to have access to billing. The medical devices have access to medical records and to billing. But you know what? Maybe my orderlies should not have access to the medical devices. And when you keep going, the matrix looks like this. Now imagine trying to enter this line by line in an ACL. At the end of the day, what you do is you just throw your hands up. And you say, you know what, I'm done. I will find another way because I can't solve this problem using the network. This is why we had to do things fundamentally differently. And this is why we introduced intent-based networking. Now, intent-based networking, you know, big words, big name, big architecture. What does it really mean? What intent-based networking means is you can live at the business intent layer, specify your policy in a very simple way. And we will show you this in a demo on how you can do this from user to application. Specify your policy, very straightforward, very simple way. And then there is a controller layer that provisions the entire underlying infrastructure, campus, branch, all the way to your data center to deliver on your intent. Now, at the same time, the underlying infrastructure feeds data back into the controller layer so we can learn from that and help you manage, run, troubleshoot, and enhance the experience delivered through that network. All right, so that's intent-based networking. And Cisco is not delivering intent-based networking in one domain. We're delivering this in every domain. This started with ACI, application-centric infrastructure in the data center. We then brought it into the campus with things like software-defined access and Cisco DNA Center. We've brought it into the WAN with SD-WAN, and we delivered in security, and then we did integrate all these domains together. So at the bottom, you can see that intent-based networking applies architecturally to every domain that Cisco operates in. All right. When we had to think about how we deliver intent-based networking, it starts at the infrastructure layer, right? We need to make sure that our ASICs are fully programmable, extremely flexible, can support new protocols, have the richest data that is coming out of that infrastructure. So we built new ASICs for intent-based networking, and I'll talk about new platforms that we put those on. We redid the operating system from the ground up. So with 16.x, Cisco iOS XE, we made it modular, programmable, API-driven, hot patchable. It is built, again, for intent-based networking. We put that operating system everywhere. I don't know if you know, iOS XE now runs on all the campus switching products. It runs on the wireless LAN controller. It runs on your branch router and your head-end router. The same iOS XE operating system that is critical for this new shift in networking. On top of that, we have the controller layer. And for the access networks, that controller layer is DNA Center. Cisco DNA Center. If you have not tried Cisco DNA Center, you need to get Cisco DNA Center and see the power of that. And I'll talk more about that software innovation. For the WAN, we have our Cisco Viptela vManage solution as the controller layer. Okay? Let's talk about the first hardware platform we came out that supports intent-based networking. And that is the Catalyst 9000 series. This is the fastest ramping product in company history. It has that new ASIC that is programmable, API-driven. It has iOS XE. It supports the rich segmentation technology, software-defined access. It supports rich data telemetry with encrypted traffic analytics to detect malware and encrypted flows without decrypting them. If you want to see the switches, they're right back there in the world of solutions. Now, after we introduced the 9000 series 18 months ago, we've added new members to that family. The Catalyst 9200. This is for mid-market, smaller customers, smaller sites, and branches where maybe your scale requirements are lower, but you still want the benefits and the value of intent-based networking. If you haven't seen the 9200, it's again on the show floor. This replaces the iconic Catalyst 2K series. This is the next generation of the Cat 2K that supports the full intent-based networking software stack for the first time and makes things like high availability table stakes. All right? So now we can bring intent-based networking to everyone, to all kinds of deployments. But we didn't stop there. We also brought in the Catalyst architecture to wireless. All right, everybody knows Catalyst for switching, right? Catalyst equals switching. Well, now Catalyst equals access, wired and wireless. We have new wireless LAN controllers called the Catalyst 9800 that support the same capabilities as the rest of the family, same API-driven capabilities, same security paradigm, same automation. All right? Can run physically in an appliance, can run embedded on the switch, can also run in a virtual environment. If you want to run it on your server, if you want to run it in AWS, in a virtual machine, you have all of those options available for you. And yes, it is the same iOS XE code, same operating system in the entire family. All access, all WAN, support iOS XE. So very excited about the Catalyst 9800. This is the future of wireless. Again, if you want to see it in action, back there in the world of solutions, ready to go for you. Now, you heard about it yesterday from Liz at the keynote, hopefully, that we're extending this capability to IoT. So if you have ruggedized environments, if you have a manufacturing floor where you might need something that can deal with higher heat, higher humidity, dust environments, we have an entire new portfolio, routers and switches, Catalyst switches, for the industrial Ethernet environment. These plug into the architecture. They are part of intent-based networking. So all of that automation, all of the security capabilities apply now to that extended edge to IoT. Now, you can take this Catalyst family, the Cat 9K series, and build any size network. This is not about the largest campuses. It goes from the smallest branch site to the largest campuses. Any size deployment can be done using one family, one architecture, one operating system. Your existing APs work, and as we introduce Wi-Fi 6, 11AX, they will plug into this architecture the same way. But you know what? It's not about the hardware. All right? So you've got these platforms that are built for intent-based networking. But it's really about the software on top. Right? That is where the speed of innovation can really be felt. What can you do with that software on top? So let me recap for you what we've been doing at that software layer. We are moving the world from this, which is users connecting over a WAN to a data center and out to the internet, to a completely software-defined world, where users and things can come from anywhere, go through software-defined access, into a software-defined WAN, and then into the software-defined Cisco data center with ACI. And now you can access applications and data that could be in your data center, could be in a public cloud, could be a SaaS application. It doesn't matter. ACI now goes anywhere, and you can link software-defined access, SD-WAN, and ACI together. So what's the end game? The end game is to enable you to, based on policy, automate all of these domains and get visibility end-to-end to manage and troubleshoot the experience and the security that you're looking to deliver. Right? So let's talk about what progress we've made toward this end game. We've made a ton of progress over the last 18 months. It all starts with Cisco DNA Center. This is the controller for all access, all wired, all wireless infrastructure. DNA Center, one DNA Center can manage today 25,000 clients. And we will scale that up to much higher levels. Single appliance, single piece of software that can fully administer and get data from the infrastructure for a very, very large domain. You can design your network, apply policy, do automated segmentation, do assurance from one place, DNA Center. We then came out with software-defined access. All right? Software-defined access says no VLANs, no spanning tree, no ACLs. We are moving to a fully routed, segmented, fabric-based architecture for the campus. We have hundreds and hundreds of customers who have already deployed SDA in less than 1 year. It's been incredible. All right? Automated segmentation is a promise, that's something that everybody has wanted for a long time. It is now real. We then came out with DNA Assurance, focused on wireless. How do you troubleshoot those nasty wireless issues? You should go to the NOC. The NOC has DNA Assurance running for 10,000 clients active at Cisco Live. Go take a look at how they're using that data to troubleshoot issues and save cost incredibly. We also introduced very recently Cisco DNA Spaces. DNA Spaces is a cloud solution that takes location data. It's not personally identifiable, so it's randomized, but it allows us to see how many people are in a certain space, how are they moving around. For a retailer, for hospitality customers, this is incredibly valuable data. And we make it easy to consume through the cloud. So have a look at Cisco DNA Spaces. And then you saw us at the keynote talk about SD-WAN and how SD-WAN is really helping customers adopt cloud. In SD-WAN, we announced a few key innovations recently. Number one is, if you're going to connect directly to the internet, how can you have the best-in-class security stack deployed via software anywhere? So for that, we brought out application firewall, intrusion prevention services, and URL filtering that can now run in the Cisco SD-WAN solution anywhere, deployed on your routers, deployed in the cloud, deployed virtually, with the easy Cisco vManage solution. We also came out with a one-click integration with cloud security. If you want to send the traffic to Umbrella, how do you make that very easy to steer traffic? And then lastly, we integrate with SaaS applications. We added integration with Office 365, where we use the APIs to understand the best way for you to connect to get the best experience, get a 40% improvement in Office 365 experience. All right? Now, to talk more about SD-WAN, I'd like to invite on stage Frank Morales from Orange Business Services. Frank, thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you, Sachin.
All right,
Happy
Frank,
to be there with you.
Let's sit here, Frank. So Frank, first of all, why don't you introduce yourself? What do you do for Orange?
OK, so I'm Frank Morales. I'm within Orange Business Services, and I'm running product and service development for connectivity services. So all what you have mentioned, LAN, of course, WAN, SD-WAN, and all the access to the cloud that we are doing currently. So
Frank, is this how it works, where customers call you and say, I want a new WAN?
It's not exactly like this. Let's start to set the scene, please, Sachin. And to do so, I use this survey from Gartner. It's a 2017 survey saying that CIOs say that WAN management complexities are their biggest operational concerns. Why this complexity? You have already done some answers on that, but probably due to the fact that a vast majority of our customers are now entering into the second step of their digital transformation. Moving from digital business operation, how to make in a more efficient way what we were used to do, to digital business transformation, doing new business model, new activity, new greenfield. And to do so, they are moving strongly to the cloud, all their applications. So during this transformation to the cloud, the WAN becomes more and more complex to manage, trying to catch up with the evolution of the IT. And all of you in the room probably are expecting the WAN to become more agile with automated configuration, just like you mentioned and you presented, Sachin, like the cloud is doing. So these two main expectations from our customers, withdraw WAN complexity and facilitate strong cloud transformation, are really the key drivers to transform the WAN, and that our customers are expecting.
So it's a digital transformation, moving applications to the cloud, and now how does the WAN need to change to address that? So what are some of the ways that services that we deliver need to change?
You know, we have a lot of examples of customers' cases, but globally, they have all in common this question we need to address. How to manage complexity and security while ensuring a high-level experience, customer experience for business-critical application in the cloud. And this question resumes all the challenges. Cloud transformation, of course, security is an important part. Performance, user experience monitoring, but there are some more in addition. Customers are expecting, first of all, fast evolution. They want to be able to make their network evolve at the same pace as their IT. Smooth transformation, because in the same way they will not change all their network overnight. And globally, a lot of reality that makes the life of the WAN manager quite complex when it comes to manage a so huge transformation, which is SD-WAN. So it's the reason why our flexible SD-WAN offer is based on 5 pillars. Native cloud connectivity, SD-WAN expertise, of course, with all what we are doing with you, especially on Cisco SD-WAN. Security, best of breed security, and we will integrate your new solution you have just announced on that space. Global services, because all this technology is fine, but we need to deliver that to our customer everywhere in the world to manage it. So we need a global capacity in terms of services. And of course, future-proofed, because we need to evolve fast with the technology we are providing to us, and we need to deliver to our customers.
Frank, this all sounds very, very daunting. So, you know, you have a lot of customers in the audience. If they're looking at a digital transformation project, you know, cloud, multi-cloud, application support, getting the right experience, what do you recommend? How should they start? How should they think about it?
You know, one of the key lessons learned that we have in mind is really this global consultancy approach in order to ensure a successful SD-WAN project. SD-WAN globally aims to bring to customers an agile network platform to accelerate digital transformation project for businesses. But SD-WAN remains a journey with important steps, and we try to help our customer to embrace this step-by-step approach. And we are starting always with a due diligence in order to make sure that we are able to define the right business use cases, the real one that they want to deliver, we want to achieve. When we are doing always a proof of concept, you know, we have set up a lot of places, a lot of open labs with you everywhere in the world in order to, in 1 week, we are able to set up a
proof of concept, try it out.
With you, with the technology. And it's not a question of testing the technology, it's really a question of making sure that the one design is fitting with the business use case they want to achieve. And then, of course, we are doing pilot. And one thing which is quite important, because we are always thinking about how to set up the project. But then it's a run phase, because all these new technologies, on WAN especially, are coming with new features, orchestration, virtualization, zero-touch provisioning, API, portal. And all these require a new way of managing WAN. Is the reason why we have defined a new organization in our operational model in order to be able to manage that, and new tools in order to be able to, in few seconds, being able to identify where an issue is coming from.
So I have a last question for you. Is it just about the WAN? What about the other domains? What are you hearing?
No, globally our vision, and I could take your slide on your vision, you know. It's, our vision is really to move forwards on artificial intelligence-driven network based on intent-based networking also, but covering SD-WAN, of course, but as well SD-LAN, and as well cloud connectivity. So this, in order to bring to our customer agility, fast deployment, easy deployment, and to ensure business continuity with more predictive and embedded security in our network. And it's very where we want to achieve this whole vision of digital transformation.
Frank, thank you so much.
Sachin. It was
Thanks
very
for making
great
time today. So there you heard it. Tremendous benefits with SD-WAN and a process to follow to get you there. So it's not daunting. Cisco and our partners can really help you make that journey to SD-WAN. Now, let's see multi-domain in action. You've heard the talk. Let's now see it really working. So, what are we talking about here? Let's go back to the end game picture. For each of these domains, you have the controller layer. You have DNA Center, you have vManage, and you have APIC for the data center. All of them need to integrate. And we're going to focus on two of these domains today. ACI in the data center and Cisco DNA for your campus, and how we bring these two together. So now I'd like to bring on stage Victor Moreno, Distinguished Technical Marketing Engineer, to show us the demo.
Thank you, Sachin.
All right, Victor, welcome.
Thank you. This is exciting. So you're going to see all of this in action. And this is an actual setup where we have...
It's live?
It's live. So
all right, and it's going to work?
Here, I have my own SSIDs, and I'm connecting to my own access network here. And we have basically a multi-cloud data center that we're connecting to, and we're hosting some applications there.
All right. I know you have lots of exciting things to show. Let's do it.
So let's go to the APIC console. And here we have it.
Yeah.
So what you see in the APIC console, so if I wear my network administrator hat for the data center, this is my console, this is my work environment. And what I usually see in this work environment are a series of groups, right? So I don't see discrete IP addresses. I see all my applications represented as groups, classified and very well structured. And I can basically construct applications and apply policies between those different groups. Now, if you notice here, we have our medical records application. And we also have some other groups here that I have actually imported from my access network. So one interesting one, for example, are the contractor nurses. So by having...
in your data center application with APIC, you've learned about users in your environment that can connect.
Exactly.
Okay.
So without the integration of the two domains, I wouldn't have that information. And without that information, I cannot author the policy between the users and the applications, which is ultimately what we're after, right? We want to connect users to applications. That's why we build these networks. So I have all the context that I need to basically create that policy. I can now have the users connect to their applications from the perspective of the data center. Now, the way this integration works is basically, we simply have to have each domain controller point to each other. So it's as simple as basically providing the IP address of the identity service that you're actually peering with. So we do this on the data center side, and we do this on the DNA Center enterprise side.
In the data center, APIC connects with Identity Services Engine.
Correct.
And in the campus, DNA Center connects with Identity Services Engine, and that's your group broker, if you will.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Exactly right. And all I do is provide an IP address, and then it's all based on RESTful APIs. I don't need to worry about any of that. That's all.
So if you change a group in one place, you learn automatically.
And that's the beauty of the groups, right? I don't want to be dealing with those discrete IP addresses in the ACLs. I want basically groups. As the membership of the group changes, my policies don't have to change.
Excellent.
So let's look at some of the groups that we have learned in DNA Center. Right? So if I go to my list of groups, you will see similar to what we saw in the console for the manager of the data center. You will see that I have all my local groups, but I also have groups that I have imported. Okay? So this I learned from ACI. So now I have...
Just the same way you saw them in APIC,
the
you have them
mirror
in
image,
DNA Center.
right?
Okay.
And I have the ability to then create policy within DNA Center to either allow or deny the access of this application from the perspective of a user. So if I look at the way DNA Center and my access network works, by default, I allow everything. In the data center, I have a different concept, right? I decline everything unless I explicitly allow it. So I explicitly allowed it in the data center, and now here it's open. So I should be able to access the medical records. So I'm going to change my hat, and I'm going to go to a tablet, and I'm going to basically be the nurse, right? So Nurse Grace Smith logs in. When I log in, my credentials, the fact that I'm logging in from a tablet, etc., all goes and gets validated by ICE. And based on all those circumstances, ICE does some very intelligent processing to actually assign me to the group contractor nurses.
Okay.
Okay, so there's all.
So right now it's open access, so it should work.
And it's open access, it should work. So I log in, and there you go. Okay. We're in, right? I can go to one medical record, and I can look at the different charts, etc. So things are working, right? So I'm happy. Now, I'm going to switch my hat again to the network administrator, and I'm going to go back to DNA Center because I want to see what the health of that is. I could go to assurance and look at these different metrics that I get from Grace's access to the application. So I'm going to look up Grace.
So you're just searching based on username?
Her username, and then we have a series of devices that are associated with Grace. We're going to look at their iPad, and we're going to look at Client 360. So I have a historical here that's coming up, and this historical tells me the health of this device from the perspective of onboarding. Do I have good radio frequency coverage? Is my response timely? Is this healthy? And you can see there were some problems there in the past. Those have been resolved, and I have an indication here of what those issues are. So very key that I can
all integrated in the same DNA Center platform.
All in the same DNA Center platform. And to your point of that vertical integration where everything starts at the ASICs, this is basically triggered from telemetry data that I'm receiving from that, from those ASICs, from these boxes that I have here where I'm actually connecting.
That's excellent.
Right, and it goes all the way into the WAN, right? So it's across every domain, vertical integration. Very, very powerful. Now, it doesn't stop there. I can then go a little further and look at my application experience. So I'm interested in exactly what she's accessing, right?
Okay.
So Grace is connecting to medical records. What does that look like from the perspective of my performance? Well, I click on medical records, and I have a complete view of the throughput, packet loss, latency, jitter, etc.
So I have the client view, I have a network view, I have an application view, same place.
Exactly.
Okay.
All in the same place. And what I see here is basically an end-to-end metric. And if there are problems here, I can now, with the information, react and change paths, change provider services, go into my WAN and basically flip a switch. I can act, right? Before anything gets reported to me, I know, right? So now we're in this environment, and we get basically the security operators interested, right? So they have their own set of tools, right? They can go into Stealth Watch, and they can actually see those flows established. And not only do they see the flows established, but they can see also, based on very sophisticated telemetry and statistical analysis, that these flows are healthy, that nobody's piggybacking on this connection of Grace's to actually infect the servers in the data center and then launch an attack.
So different view for the security operator, using the same data, but from a security angle.
From a security angle. Now, the semantics are similar, right? I can filter my information by flows, and I'm going to show you a preloaded search that is basically, what it's telling me here is I am going to go from contractor nurses group to the medical records application, right? That's what I'm interested in. So the language is the same. Groups are cornerstone to this. I'm talking about a group of users to a group of applications.
So the Stealth Watch product is group aware.
It's group aware.
Okay.
Yeah, so my intent is expressed in terms of groups and actions between those groups in all of the systems.
That's excellent.
So I run this, and basically what I'm going to see once it runs is that I have my flow identified here.
So there's an active flow that the security apparatus is also seeing.
Right.
Okay.
And now we get a phone call. The nurses are no longer going to be looking at medical records because now they have a research assignment, so they don't need it.
Okay.
So I'm going to block them. So I go back to my DNA Center, And I'm going to basically alter
You're going to make
policy.
a policy change for a user group all the way to an application group in the data center.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And it's very easy. So traditionally, I would have had to go and find what is the IP address of the server, what are the IP addresses of all the nurses, and author an ACL around that. Well, what I do now is very, very simple. I simply add a policy, and I find basically my medical record application is my destination, and I find my contractor nurses is my source, and all I have to say is, are they allowed or denied? So I add a contract between the two, and I can deny everything, permit everything, or I can be more granular, and I can author custom contracts.
Like an extended ACL type contract. Okay.
Yes, I can say a specific protocol. In our case, we don't want to allow anything, so we deny everything, and we give it a name, right? We're going to call it Barcelona. And off we go. This is now going to be written onto the network.
All right, fingers crossed. It looks like it's been created.
And then it did. And here I have it, right? So this is my Barcelona policy. As you can see, there's a source, there's a destination based on groups, not based on IP addresses, and I have my contract in the middle, which is an action of denial.
So if this worked, the iPad should no longer, the nurse should no longer be...
Let's see.
Okay.
So I'm still wearing my, my IT hat, right?
Yeah.
So with my IT hat, I go to my IT tools. I'm not going to wait for the nurse to tell me, yeah, your thing is good, right?
Yeah.
It's like I'm responsible. The nurse isn't. So I go back to StealthWatch, and I rerun my search. And I shouldn't find a flow. Let's see. And there it is.
Okay, no more flows, but let's go see the iPad.
Let's go to the iPad and see what's going on with the nurse. Okay. So now I'm at my iPad. I'm going to refresh my view.
And it's going to get the wonderful access denied message.
Yeah, and we're having ICE actually reroute us to a portal that says access denied, right? Normally you would just time out.
Yeah.
But
so it sounds so simple, but no IP addresses, group-based, all the way from the campus to any cloud with ACI.
Right.
And you just did a few clicks and you can administer policy.
It's the power of speaking in terms of your intent.
Intent-based networking across multiple domains in action. All of this shipping in 6 months or available now?
You can do this right now.
You can do this right now.
We're doing, this is shipping code.
This is shipping code. Customers have it in production.
Yep.
Victor, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was amazing. So it's not just in one domain now. Across multiple domains, you can connect them from a policy-based approach very, very simply, available today. So now you're like, okay, that sounds like a lot to digest. How do I start? Where do I start? All right? Let me see if I can give you some tips. First of all, you need to know that we now have thousands of customers who have deployed intent-based networking. Thousands. So you're no longer the first few. You can see the examples on the screen. Wipro doing this for policy and visibility. Jade University bringing professors and students together on special projects. Children's Hospital of Los Angeles following some of the things we showed in the hospital example. So first of all, you're not the first ones. There's thousands already doing this, so talk to your peers. Talk to people who are already on this journey. Secondly, while the end state is software-defined access, software-defined WAN, you can start with basic automation. Plug and play, automated software download, automated config. You can use the data and do assurance, help troubleshoot issues, monitor the network, and then move to software-defined access. Now, you should get the infrastructure ready, and you really need to make sure that you're getting familiar with DNA Center for access and Viptela vManage, Cisco vManage for WAN. So get familiar with those controllers. How do they change how you interact with the network? What power do they bring to the table for you? And then finally, if you want to operate with the APIs on top of these controllers, leverage DevNet. So DevNet here, DevNet sandboxes. How can you program multiple controllers using the API approach across all of these domains? We've also tried to make how you consume this simpler across all of the enterprise products. There's 3 subscription tiers: DNA Essentials, DNA Advantage, DNA Premier. So based on how far you want to go with us in the journey, pick from these 3 across switching, wireless, and routing. It's exactly the same packaging across the board. And then finally, understand that depending on how far you're going to go, the benefits are tremendous. 67% improvement in time savings when provisioning the network. 80% improvement in time when troubleshooting issues. Significantly lower impact of security breaches and tremendous operational savings, allowing you to move much more quickly and deliver that security and experience to all your users and applications. So my ask of you is, let's get started. Let's go. Let's do this today. All right? Get your infrastructure ready. Get familiar with DNA Center and with vManage. Secondly, start moving in one domain. It's not like you need to move in every domain at the same time. But pick an architecture that will allow you to integrate across domains. So don't get stuck with a solution for one place only, because remember your ultimate goal: users and things connected securely to applications and data anywhere, delivering that right experience and making things easier for you. Thank you, and enjoy Cisco Live.
A big thank you to Sachin and all our...
Welcome back to the Cisco TV studio, and what an amazing talk it was about one of the hottest topics here at Cisco Live, and that's intent-based networking. I'm here with Rob Boyd at the studio. And Rob, so could you tell me, what did you like about this talk, and why do you think intent-based networking is so important to our customers?
So this might be my favorite area that we're going to be covering right now. So Sachin set it up, and unfortunately I was not able to pay enough attention to what these guys were saying. And so at the risk of being just a little bit repetitive, I think one of the things that we need to remember right now is that for anyone who's been around for a long time, and we have called AeroNet, as it referred to our wireless, especially premise-based wireless, AeroNet for the longest time. AeroNet is now part of Catalyst, and we're starting to see a huge consolidation, and this is not a marketing thing, but it's an awesome consolidation in the Catalyst 9000 family, to where that family is growing across a consistent code base, both at the, hey, I need to buy a lot of switches type level, or I need to really go down and I would need a full
So wait a moment,
buildable switch.
AeroNet is wireless and Catalyst is switching, so you're telling me we're actually bringing those together?
Those are actually together now, and so I'm sure we will all keep calling it AeroNet for a long time, but the idea is that wireless, when we talk about Catalyst, depending on which Catalyst model we're talking about, it may not be a switch, it may be a wireless controller. And so just something to keep in mind. We're going to go look at a video now. We'll start to extrapolate this as we go through. We'll go to the show floor in just a moment, also get some more demonstrations. But right now, take a look at this video.
Some things are better kept apart. A cat in a fishbowl, a pin in a balloon, wired and wireless. Wait, wired and wireless, managed and secured separately? Wouldn't they actually go better together, like chocolate and peanut butter, song and dance, world and peace? Well, guess what? The Cisco Catalyst 9000 family is expanding to wireless. That's wired and wireless together on one operating system. Always on, faster deployments, stronger security. Cisco Catalyst 9000 family, wired and wireless together at last.
And that just goes to prove you that if you can't believe Rob telling you that it's now about wireless as well, then believe the anonymous deep voice broadcaster guy that just did that video for us. Either way, obviously the story is coming out now, and it's good for you to know because there's a lot of goodness that comes out of this technology. In fact, speaking of goodness, Steve is out on the show floor ready to talk about some more details, I believe, in just a moment. Steve, please, Can you talk to us further?
Another one of those deep voice broadcasters, right? I'm glad you guys ran that VT because that really sets us up beautifully for what it is that we're doing right out here. I am in the middle of our spectacularly beautiful Cisco showcase, and we're going to talk Catalyst 9000 series for the next few minutes. Specifically, we're going to look at the Catalyst 9200 series switches and our Catalyst 9800 wireless controller. I've got Marcos Jimenez here with me. Marcos, get on in here with me. Okay. Doing well? Having fun?
Very well, thank you.
Fabulous.
Hola.
Hola. All right, one of our DNA solutions architects, Marcos, this is really such a new era in intent-based networking. The Catalyst family extends out to wireless. We are introducing new switches for mid-market, for simple branch deployments, and so on. The engineering team, you guys have been working out these amazing switching and wireless innovations. So tell us a little bit about these two latest introductions to the Catalyst 9000 family.
Sure. So we indeed introduced two new platforms in this big family, that is the Cat 9K that we launched 1 year ago. Specifically, the 9200 access switch to cover the branch, simplified branch and smaller deployments, and the 9800 Catalyst wireless LAN controller. So even if it sounds weird, it's really from a Catalyst family to have a real converged wired and wireless solution.
Absolutely. We talk about this all the time. Catalyst 9000, this group of products, it is the fastest ramping product line we have ever had in the history of Cisco. Why do you think that is? Why are these so special and unique as far as the industry is concerned?
Well, actually, that's a good point. Why more than 11,000 customers did already adopt Cat 9K? You know, we built a platform that from a hardware perspective, it's programmable. So it can evolve. It can really innovate, it can really support features that don't even exist today by programmability. So we think that customers really like this from a lifetime perspective for the product, having programmable ASICs and an operating system that is open, agile, and flexible. They are much better prepared for innovations that you need today and that you might need tomorrow.
Excellent. All right, so we're right in front of the Catalyst 9200 right now. What would you say are the most important differentiations of this particular product right now?
Well, you know, it's part of the Catalyst 9K family. So it inherits all the benefits I mentioned from an architectural perspective. So really that hardware, that programmable ASIC, is able to cover the three main challenges that customers have today, which are security. So it's about keeping the network safe. It's about reliability, so keeping the network up. And it's about operational challenges, which is about being able to manage the network in a very simplified way. So this family really covers that three challenges much better than any other family, even in Cisco. So it steps up from the other Catalyst family that they are replacing. So there are three very clear use cases for this 9200 access switch family, which is the simplified branch, the small market or mid-market solution, and one very clear statement is the perfect solution where you used to position Catalyst 2960X, this is your product. So that's the benefits of this.
Excellent. I'm going to actually make you run down. Let's go to the other end of the desk, because I want to check out the Catalyst 9800 as well, which is back over here on this side. Nice beauty shot of that before we dive in and talk about it. So same thing. Why don't you give us those key differentiators on the Catalyst 9800?
So again, being the Catalyst 9800 wireless LAN controller part of this family, the first thing that I have to say is that it's iOS XE-based platform. So it inherits all the benefits, and you can have a uniform operating system all across your campus. Now, important thing is that it also takes all the excellence from an RF perspective that we've learned and leveraged in the last years. So we take the best of both worlds, the best operating system being iOS XE, and the best RF excellence that we've been leveraging in our current wireless LAN controllers.
All right, so you get an opportunity while you're here on the show floor to talk direct to customers. They come up to you. This is that great, rare opportunity of actually being live here at the show. What are you hearing from people when they come up and ask you questions about this and also tell you their personal stories? What are some of those great success stories that you are hearing?
Well, the most important one is that the Catalyst 9800 is not a single platform. Actually, it's a single product, but in many, many form factors. This means it can be an appliance with different scalability capabilities. It can be virtualized, so virtualized for your virtual environment, like your private cloud. It can be public cloud deployed, or it can even run in a LAN switching Catalyst 9K platform. So that's a real benefit. We call this deploy anywhere. So same features, same product, deployed anywhere. The second thing that people like, and this is because it's iOS XE platform, is the security. It inherits all the security benefits of iOS XE. For example, ETA, encrypted traffic analytics, and SDA, the best segmentation solution that we can deploy. And probably the third thing is the always-on capability. So again, thanks of being iOS XE-based platform, it takes this advantage of this operating system, being able to make some upgrades without disrupting the service, software upgrades, or for example, hot patching. This means solving a bug or a p-search without reloading the box. They are really loving this type of capabilities.
I love that. Steve, I'm going to have you swing the camera around this way so we can get a nice beauty shot up the entire platform and back into the center of the booth. I want to ask you what comes next. What are we excited about? What is the strategy moving forward from now, and what does the future hold for our customers starting here and then moving forward?
Now, if you can see these platforms, they look really similar, right? They are similar. They are the same architecture. So we can, for once and uniquely in the market, having a uniform platform in our campus from the access up to the core, and the access being wired or wireless, right? Now, how can I manage this? How can I operate these wonderful platforms? Here it comes our intent-based approach, thanks to the DNA Center platform. Now, management, we moved from 10, 20, 30 network devices up to 100,000. This was very difficult to manage, and all type of devices connected to it, and bring also security on it. So we wanted to move from hours to minutes in terms of operation and deployment to seconds. And literally our intent-based approach, thanks to DNA Center with SDA and assurance, is to have these complex and huge networks being very easily operated and deployed.
What a great summary of everything going on with Catalyst. Marcus, thank you so much. I really appreciate it, my friend. We are going to head back to the studio just for a moment, though. Come back to me as soon as you can, okay?
History. All right. Hey, fantastic. So this is one of the important things we told you about earlier before we went into that whole piece was do we understand that wireless is part of Catalyst, because we're going to hear Catalyst a lot more. And Catalyst is just a great brand, but it represents a lot of great underlying technology. And if you didn't pick up on it there, we're talking about a simple, single code base with iOS XE across the entire platform. Not just using the same base and then varying from there where we have all the multiple trains of software updates that we've all lived with for years. No, everything is converging now, and this is talking about the code, into a single binary, which means that we're going to start getting updates faster. We start getting things much more easy to understand when it's time to update the network. You have more control. All the management can be, doesn't have to be, but although I recommend it, is around Cisco DNA Center. So everything rolls up into that so that you can start taking advantage of the intent-based networking and going full loop when it comes to DNA Center assurance. So I'm just curious if this is beginning to make, as a security person, I would caution you, don't ask me any deep security questions because I want to be able to do that to you, but does it make sense? Is the messaging?
That sounds great, it does sound great. So, and I hear that SDA is a big piece of it, right? So the software-defined access.
Yeah, I think that's really key to making the technology work, because SDA is where we're going to get the consistent fabric. And actually one of the things that we're seeing over, especially in the IoT booth, is we're seeing the SDA, we're seeing that fabric extend to the non-carpeted space. So to your parking lots where you've got smart lights and such out there, and you need control systems, and you need ways to interact intelligently, perhaps bring in your surveillance and do different things like that. One fabric gives you the ability to manage and understand what's happening without fighting your system constantly just to get your work done, right?
Sounds great.
All right, cool. All right, guys, we have another video to take a look as we go just a little bit deeper on the topic.
From the moment my day begins, I'm bombarded by issues from the CEO on down.
Today, Optisha opens their new campus downtown. 75,000 square foot downtown headquarters.
We're having wireless issues. The connections are dropping.
Blindly trying to find the root cause. Never sure if an issue is truly fixed because my team can't recreate it.
We're trying to find the problem. It might be insufficient bandwidth. We're definitely having connectivity problems.
Without enough time or the right people, we're constantly chasing a growing mountain of problems that outpace us every day.
All the days for the network to have an issue. Today, we need to fix this fast. You think IT can pull this off?
What if my network could be intuitive? like my senses, recognizing patterns, instantly processing information, making split-second decisions, and gaining context by clearly seeing the big picture.
We think we have the problem isolated.
Is recommending a path tree.
Well, you can with intent-based networking by Cisco. It provides my team intelligence from the millions of sensors and devices connected to it.
Access points stopped accepting 5
I'm going to pull up the historical data.
I'm going to run a wireless spectrum sweep from the network sensors.
Letting us travel back in time, seeing all the factors,
We need to enable clean air.
then guiding us to the right solution fast. It's like nothing before, giving us the context to know what is truly important. Now the network helps my team take the right action immediately, freeing us up to create, innovate, and help achieve what's next.
Nice work, everyone.
Intent-based networking by Cisco.
Wow, what a video. I just love that. 6 Sense. Doesn't that sound great? Sounds like magic, but it is reality, actually. That's our intent-based networking. And well, our next topic is DNA spaces. So, Rob, could you tell me more about the location-based services platform that we are having out there with DNA now?
Yeah, absolutely. So, but you know what? Before I give it away, because I got a lot of my information, I got a lot of good information from the person that actually Nish is going to be talking to you right now. I had a chance to meet some of her team.
This
just goes back to the July Systems. Yeah, it's not confidential. It's just, but July Systems was an acquisition Cisco made recently, gave us some new capabilities for doing location-based analysis with the cloud, expanding it so we're not just about on-prem when it comes to location. So right now, Nish is going to talk to Cindy, I believe, and we'll get those details now.
Great, thanks Rob and thanks Agrim. So I'm here in the world of solutions with DNA Center and I'm here with Cindy Ho. Hi Cindy, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Could you tell us a little bit more about your role at Cisco and what's going on here?
Yeah, so I'm a product marketing manager at Cisco. I'm working on DNA Spaces. So Cisco DNA Spaces is a new location analytics and services platform that was launched just about 2 months back. Essentially, it's the next generation of CMX cloud portfolio. So really what we're doing is we're digitizing physical spaces and people and things to help customers learn more about what's happening inside their space. And what's different about this from CMX is that previously CMX was a different portfolio of solutions. Here we're really trying to simplify how location services are consumed and for our customers. So it's very simple, everything's under the same dashboard, it's a simple pricing structure. So here, I'm going to show you what we're live at worldwide. So here's our global stats. We're live at about 23,000 locations, pulling data from about 510,000 access points, the number of location updates that we're able to process every single second, and here we're looking at how many visitors that we're seeing, how many visits that we've seen through the platform so far. And so what does this really mean for a customer who's looking at their space particularly? So here on the right side, we're actually live today at Cisco Live Barcelona. And here what we're looking at, we've seen about almost 9.5 thousand visitors so far over the past 2 days who are coming in and out of in the area. And this location hierarchy that we're looking at is essentially what we're looking at is the backbone of the IT infrastructure, told through a more line of business perspective. And so here, if we look at World of Solutions, we're live at about 68 access points just within this area, whereas the full conference center, we're live at about 714 access points. So the question is, how can we really pull data coming out of the access points to talk through a more business nomenclature, visitor behavior language? So what different kinds of location data that we're looking at is visit duration, visit frequency, how many times visitors are coming back. So visit duration we're looking at. So within this World of Solutions area with so many cool booths, we're looking at average visit duration for visitors is about 140 minutes, and we can benchmark that against the breakout sessions, against the keynote sessions. So really being able to comparatively look at a space and actually understand what's happening from a property level view. Beyond location analytics, I mean, the platform does so much. We look at engagements, we look at BLE management systems, we look at asset management under operational insights. And overall, what we're really trying to strive for is a very easy deployable location services model. So it's a cloud platform. You can go live within 48 hours. We're actually offering a free 90-day trial for customers to get started. If any customer has Meraki or Catalyst infrastructure, they can get started within 48 hours.
I was just going to ask actually, so how do customers go about doing that?
Yeah, so all we do is we send them the setup guide. It's really simple, so if any customer has existing Meraki Catalyst infrastructure today, they can get started within 48 hours. One of our customers wanted to know more about their data just before Black Friday. So the question was, can we turn 3,000 locations on within the matter of a month? And we sent them this guide, and they were able to get started within the week. After troubleshooting a few locations, getting them up to speed, they were able to go live with 3,000 locations just before Black Friday, so they can start seeing insights into what's happening in their space.
Got it. And obviously we mentioned CMX, and this is the next evolution of that. So what is it that the cloud enables you to do with DNA Spaces?
Definitely. So it is the next version. CMX as well as with additional feature capabilities added on. So the reason why we're pulling data, it's a combination of the July Systems acquisition platform that happened back in August, integrated with the CMX portfolio solution. So it's not a new product. Even though we launched 2 weeks ago, it's built off of a history of years of experience, years of expertise from both parties. And from the cloud solution, I mean, we're looking at location analytics from people, location analytics from things, being able to differentiate who's a visitor, who's a guest, who's a customer, and asset management for healthcare, manufacturing. We're looking at a variety of different industries from retail, malls, stadiums, manufacturing, healthcare. So it's very expansive, the amount of work that we can do, and we're just getting started.
Absolutely. We always talk about the power of data and how important that is, and it sounds like the DNA Space is a great way to bring that to life and to get some of those insights as well. So obviously we're here in the world of solutions, much wider Cisco Live. What are you enjoying so far about the event?
I think it's amazing just to see how excited everyone is about what's happening here in this space. I mean, I think we're getting partners, customers, and even internal Cisco employees coming here who are so excited to learn about DNA Spaces, wanting to know what's different about it, wanting to understand how it's, really bringing out the cloud solution, cloud portfolio, software portfolio of Cisco. And I think it's just exciting to know that people want to learn more and people are interested, and that's a great validation.
Absolutely, and that's something that we've seen is the energy is really high at the event as well. So thank you so much, Cindy. Great to hear more about DNA Space in the world of solutions. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to Cisco TV. We are here at Cisco Live Barcelona, and I just can't hide my enthusiasm. I find this event so energetic, right? Yeah, all of our customers, partners, learning a lot of new content, discovering all the new technologies. Well, Rob, could we just